Hey guys, it's Ed from East West Bushcraft, and I'm out in the woods again today by this nice little stream. So I'm out here today after some ivy, Hedera helix, English ivy, common ivy, whatever you want to call it. Now, most of you will be very familiar with ivy. It is very common. You'll find it growing up and all over your trees. What I want to do with it is I want to use it for soap. Caution, some people react to ivy, the sap in the ivy. If you don't know if you're one of those people, find out before you do this. Obviously do not ingest it. So the type of soap we're doing is ideally for, I'm going to be washing like clothes with it and things like this. I wouldn't particularly wash my dishes with it unless I've really rinsed it, but otherwise it's not that type of soap. The first thing we need to do is go find some of this common English ivy, and when we find this ivy, you will notice that towards the bottom and towards the top the leaves change. They go from lobed to spear shaped towards the top. This is all the same ivy, and they have these fruits on there which the pigeons love. What we're after are the leaves. Inside of the leaves, within the flesh, is a chemical called saponins, and saponins, when dissolved and diluted into water and shaken, it will froth up, and this is how we get our detergent. Once we have gathered our leaves, the next stage is we need to put them onto a surface, and then what I'd like to do is you can either rip them, or what I like to do is chop them up with my knife into smaller pieces. This will improve the surface area of the exposed flesh of the inner leaf. Once we have chopped them up or ripped them up into smaller pieces, we can then place them inside of a container and top this container up with water. How much water to put in there? Obviously, when you put water in there, if you put a lot of water in there compared to fewer leaves, you will get a lower concentration. But how much to actually put in there? What I like to start with is to put the water in with the leaves till the leaves begin to float, and then a little bit extra, and I'll leave it at that, and I'll go from there. If this isn't enough, then we can leave these things to steep for a bit longer, or add more leaves. So once the leaves have been put in the pot, you can then start heating that pot up and bring it to the boil. And once we've brought it to a boil, we let it sit there for a little bit. We want to extract as much as we can. These are green leaves into water, so extraction can not be as good as, say, like a tea bag, which is nice dry leaves and they dilute really easily into the water. So leave these on for a boil for a bit, and then once we're done, we remove it off the boil and we let it sit there and steep for as long as you want. This isn't one of those emergency tasks where you need to get some emergency detergent for your washing. What you can do, and probably advisable to get the maximum benefit out of this, is to prepare this, say like the day before, and let this sit in the water overnight, so it gets a full soaking and the maximum extraction from those leaves. So we've turned this off and we've been letting it steep for a while, so it's still quite nice and warm to the touch, and there's all juices inside. As you can see, the water goes green. That's perfectly fine. Probably wouldn't use this as a detergent on any of your whites, but yeah, this is coming along nicely. This will get better the longer we leave it, so I'm going to leave this for a bit longer, for another hour or so, and we'll give it a test. So I thought I'd show you water quickly so you can see the difference. So there's some water. When you shake it, there's no saponins in there, no soap products, nothing. With the ivy juice, put that away. We'll put the lid on. Let's say you probably don't want to use this with your whites, but shake it up, there's all your soap. Next time you're out for several days and you might want to clean some clothes, maybe your socks, don't give ivy mist unless you react to it. And on another note, if I haven't mentioned it already, I wouldn't typically ingest this, so if you do use it on anything that you may ingest, i.e. my water bottle, make sure you rinse it out afterwards, thoroughly, so there's no saponins left in there. You shouldn't ingest them. It's a big irritant and you'll get problems with it. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.